Welcome to HealthCurrents, a program that looks at the services, programs, and people of Riverside Medical Center. I'm Carl Moronich, and with us today is Dr. Jeffrey Mendel, and Dr. Mendel is the Medical Director of Radiology at Riverside. When people hear radiology, they think x-rays, and I think things have changed, and radiologists are now involved in a lot more procedures than just x-rays. Maybe you can talk a little bit about the variety of procedures that are involved in radiology.
We do a broad spectrum of diagnostic studies, CT scans, MRIs, ultrasound, nuclear medicine exams, and some minimally invasive procedures that can sometimes save people from having to go to major surgeries. So
it's beyond just diagnostic testing now, and there are many more procedures that are done.
The greatest advancements in radiology have been in the interventional radiology aspect, where everything is image guided, using small needles instead of a scalpel to do some of the surgeries, or at least to get to the goal of what a surgery used to be.
So anymore, you don't see people with films, walking around looking at films. A lot of it's done through the computer now.
There are times when we actually read the x-rays and CT scans from our homes when in urgent situations. Technology has certainly made it much more accessible for the experts in the field to be available and to make decisions at a moment's notice for patients.
Now, with regard to technology, I know we had talked a little bit about low-dose radiation and the advancements that are being made there. Talk a little bit about what's happening in that area and why that's so important.
The nice thing about our institution at Riverside is we've sort of been ahead of the curve for quite a long time. These news stories that have come out, I think there was a story out in California about a CT scan that was excess amount of radiation exposure. We've actually instituted protocols here at Riverside for at least 5 years now, where we limit the amount of radiation exposure for CT scans. And in some parts of the country, the #1 exposure to radiation is from CT scanners, particularly in patients that have specific diseases where they require a lot of recurrent CT scans, and the exposures can be significant. And so what we've done is we've looked at the literature and tailored our protocols to be as little as possible radiation exposure to the patient and to the staff that's working in the department.
Sure, that's important as well.
Yeah.
Doctor, before we ask our final question, we're going to go over to Judy and get a HealthCurrents update.
Thanks, Carl. It's 4th of July, time for fireworks, barbecues, and backyard picnics. And don't forget the bug bites, poison ivy, sprains, and the occasional summer cold. But you won't need to worry about that with Immediate Care in Monee. We're about to open our newest facility, opening in July, for injuries, illnesses, and more, 7 days a week with convenient hours to treat you. Join us July 14th for our open house at the new Monee Immediate Care. And on July 20th, hear what you may be missing. Dr. Christopher Lombardo and Dr. Sadie Braun join us to talk all about ears and hearing at our Riverside facility in Watseka. From all of us here at Riverside Medical Center, we thank you and wish you a safe and happy 4th of July.
Doctor, I want to ask, if somebody comes in for an x-ray or some other radiological procedure, their experience may be just with the technician, but there are a lot of other people behind the scenes. Maybe you could tell us a little bit about the team that surrounds that visit.
We do work behind the scenes most of the time. When we're not doing the interventional procedures where we do have some patient contact, there's a whole network of physicians and technical staff and clerical staff and administrators behind the scenes making sure that the procedures that we do are safe. There's an urgent result, then we pretty much fire up the whole series of events that gets the appropriate people involved for the patient's care. It's kind of a neat thing to be involved with when you're sort of coordinating the appropriate response to something that could be significant for that patient.
Dr. Mendel, thanks so much for joining us. We appreciate you being on HealthCurrents and sharing a lot of good information.
Thanks, great being here.
And we ask you to stay healthy, stay current, and stay tuned to HealthCurrents from Riverside Medical Center.